Good morning, girls and boys. How are you? How's everything going? I hope everyone is well and sound, and I hope that this critical timing will pass very soon and we'll go back to our normal life, playing outside and visiting each other and having fun. But my advice for this time is to make use of your staying at home and achieve as much as you can in your studying and in your free time you can practice your hobbies and stay as much as you can with your family members, playing and chatting and helping, and hope everything will go back to normal life very soon. So let's start our lesson, boys and girls. And this is fraction and whole number division. And if noticed, this is chapter 8, lesson 4. So since we started e-learning, we start with chapter 6, fraction, addition and subtraction, and chapter 7, fraction multiplication, and now this is chapter 8 about fraction and division, fraction and whole number division. So let's start. The learning objective for this week is how to divide fractions. So we can divide a fraction by a whole number or a whole number by a fraction. We will learn all of this, and do not worry, the lesson is very easy and you will enjoy it a lot. Now please get ready as usual with your Go Math book chapter 8 and math notebook, your pencil, sharpener and eraser, and if you wish you would like to use a small whiteboard and a marker. Now let's start with this warm-up activity and a math challenge, and I think that you will love it so much. And this is about simplifying fractions, okay? So you have only 3 questions, so get ready with your math notebook or a whiteboard marker, a whiteboard and a marker, and let's get ready. A, B, and C. Let's try today's date. This is week 3, chapter 8, lesson 4. But still, we will remember our previous lesson, which is about simplifying fractions. So let's start our challenge. And here it is. Okay, I'll start the timer right now. Okay, about half the time has passed. And less than 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time is over. Okay, let's see the answers. Okay, are these your answers? Let's see. Good job, students. I know that you got them, and if you missed in one or two, it's fine. Let's learn. How did you get these answers? Okay, so you can give yourself a score out of 10. This is the first fraction. You remember it was 5 over 30, and you can divide the numerator and the denominator by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Perfect. Second one, divide the numerator and the denominator by 3. By the way, you cannot divide them by 6 because there is no answer for 9 divided by 6. I know that there is an answer for 24 divided by 6, but for the upper number, no, you cannot. So the best number is 3, and this is what you get, 3 over 8. What about the last one? 17 over 5, I'm going to use the clock method. Remember the rule, QRD. So Q is my quotient, R is my remainder, and D is my divisor. Remember, we will copy the divisor as is, and I'm going to divide 17 by 5. Okay, 17 divided by 5, the closest answer is 3. So 3 times 5 is 15. How much is left from the 17? It's 2. That's why the answer is 2 over 5. So this is a good math practice. Now, are you ready to start the lesson? Let's go. Now let's unlock the problem with a very simple example. Let's imagine that we have these 6 nice red apples, okay, 6 whole numbers. So I'm starting with a whole number, which are 6 apples, right? And I'm going to divide each apple into half. So in this picture, you can see that every apple is divided into halves, 2 halves, right? The question is, how many friends can share the 6 apples? Okay, what do you think? If I cut each apple into halves, how many friends can share them? Or how many pieces will I get? Let's see. Well done. 12 friends. And you can see the apples are labeled here with these numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is very easy. So if we can draw a simple model for the apples, for the bread, for chocolates, for papers, I can find the answers easily. Let's take another example. Let's try this. Use your pen or marker to cut the cakes. I have 3 cakes, and each person will get 4th serving of a cake. A 4th, okay? It's 1 over 4. Let's try. You can draw your cakes on your math notebook. You can draw any flavor, a chocolate cake, a strawberry cake, an apple cake. So let's use a pen and let's cut each cake into 4th. Okay, this is the first cake. This is the second cake, right? And this is the third cake. So how many friends or how many people will get cake? So what do? Yes, you should count the pieces, right? You can easily count the pieces for each cake. So what's the final answer? Did you get that? Let's try. Excellent, 12 pieces, so it means 12 people can get a share. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is very easy. Now let's draw our own model to solve this. Get your math notebook or your whiteboard and let's divide 4 by half. So what does that mean? You can imagine that you have 4 cakes or 4 apples, 4 pizzas, 4 donuts, and let's split each cake or each apple into half. So how many people can get an equal share? Okay, have some time. 10 seconds and give me your answer. Perfect. Let's see. Wow, that's very easy. You can draw a simple model, okay? A circular model, a rectangular model, a square model. It doesn't matter as long as you cut each one into half. So how many people can get the share? That's correct. Okay, It's eight people or 8 friends. That's very easy. Now I want you to have a look at this example, 1 over 4 divided by 2. Now look carefully, 1 over 4 divided by 2. Think about it, and you'll ask me now this question. Miss, how can I divide a fraction by a whole number? How can I divide something like a fraction? How can I cut it? Yes, you can. Think about a quarter piece of a bread, a quarter piece of a pizza, a quarter piece of an apple. Yes, you can still cut it. Just get a knife and cut it, but the share will be too small. So imagine that you have this quarter piece of a pizza and you want to share it between you and your brother. Yes, you can do that. Now, how will this model help me? Now, you love this model a lot. Have a closer look at this model and I will show you what does this mean. Look at the example. Let's imagine that I will start with a whole bread, but I'm not going to cut it all. I'll just share a quarter piece between me and my brother. Can you see this small piece? I want to share it between me and my brother. Now, how much each of us will get? Is it 1 over 5 piece? No, that doesn't work. The share should be equal and the split should be perfect. Is it 1 over 6? No, still it doesn't work. Which fraction you think will fit in here? Remember? Perfect split. Perfect. This works. It's 1 over 8. So if I cut a quarter piece of bread, a quarter sandwich, or a quarter apple, the answer will be 1 over 8. Perfect. Let's look at this practice. Again, it's a fraction divided by a whole number. It's a third piece of an apple, of a bread, of a muffin. Let's use the same model, okay? Imagine that I have a full piece of a bread, but I'm gonna share only third of that, okay? Only third of a bread. I wanna share it between me and my friend, equal share. Which fraction you think it will fit exactly? Okay, 1 over 5, no, it's not working. What about 1 over 8? No, we said an equal share. No, that's wrong. I need to cut it into 2 pieces, right? So which fraction works? Okay, let's see, 1 over 6. Perfect. Okay, the share is 1 over 6. So if I cut 1 over 3 piece of apple or a bread into 2 equal parts, every friend or every person will get 1 over 6. Okay, 1 over 6. No way the answer will be a whole number. No way. If I cut a fraction, okay, by 2 people, by 5 people, by 10 people, no way the answer will be a whole number. Why? Because you're starting with a fraction. You're starting with a part of a whole. So how come you will end with a whole number? For sure you will end up with a fraction. Okay, now notice this. This is one of our conclusions for this lesson. If you start with a fraction and divide it by a whole number, okay, I'm starting with a fraction and I'm dividing it by a whole number, you will end up with a fraction, okay? But if you start with a whole number and you divide it by a fraction, you will end up with a whole number, okay? So that's 2 conclusions for this lesson. When you do the math part, this is the best way to check your answer. So let's say the 2 conclusions. A fraction divided by a whole number is equal to a fraction. And this applies on the first example. A fraction divided by a whole number is a fraction. Now what about the second conclusion? A whole number divided by a fraction is always a whole number. Okay, now don't worry, as we said, we will practice some math right now and we will understand how math is related to all these models and conclusions. Now, Remember keywords for division. Share equally, divide equally, cut equally. When you divide fractions, you do not need to find common denominators. Wow, so that will be very easy to practice right now. Now let's do some math using this example. A half divided by 4, what does that mean? Half an apple, half a banana, half a bread, half a croissant. You're gonna share it, okay, among you and 3 more people, so total 4 people. How can I do this? Wow, what is this? KFC. What does KFC have to do with this? What is the relation between KFC and this math lesson? Will I divide half chicken of a KFC? No, it's not. It's a math rule, okay? And it's a very interesting rule. Now listen carefully. KFC stands for keep, flip, change. I'm using the first letters of the KFC. Keep, flip, change. Remember, students, I'm doing now the math steps, so focus very well. What do I mean by keeping, flipping, and changing? I'll keep the first number, which is half. I'll keep it the same. I'm not going to change it. Half, okay? And I'll flip the 4. What do I mean by flipping it? Now, what is 4? 4 means 4 over 1, right? 4 over 1, if it is 5, it's 5 over 1. If it is 6, it's 6 over 1, right? If you divide any number by 1, it's the same. But I need to flip it. So I will put the 1 on top and the 4 down. Excellent, it's 1 over 4. So I'm flipping the number, it became a fraction. And what's the last word? Change. What do I change? I change the division into multiplication. Okay, I change the division into multiplication. So I have 3 steps in this lesson. Keep, flip, and change. Now what does this remind you of? Great, this is the previous lesson, chapter 7, multiplying fractions. I know how to do this, it's very easy. Remember, multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. Perfect, 1 over 8. Yes, if I share half an apple with 4 people, with 3 people with 4 people, including me, every person will get 1/8 of a piece, which is very small. Now, how was this? Okay, still you need more practice, no worries. Let's do more practice. Now, in order to practice, let's open the book, page 513, and you can use your math notebook, and we will take some time to explain every example, 1, 2, and 3, and do not worry, as we said, the more we practice, the easier the lesson will be. Now the question says, use the model to complete the number sentence. Look at this model. What does it mean? It says 2 whole. It could be 2 loaves of bread. It could be 2 apples. It could be 2 chocolate bars. Any model. As I said, you can use any model, any drawing, circular, rectangular, square model. And I want to cut each model into 4th, right? So the question is, how many people can share the 2 loaves of bread? Remember our rule, kids. We said a whole number divided by a fraction. What do you think the answer will be? This is how you do this lesson. You have to start asking yourself this question. What's the conclusion? A whole number divided by a fraction, I must end up with a whole number. Now remember the rule, students. KFC. Keep, flip, change. So keep the 2. Look at the book. The book wrote 2 because I'm keeping 2. Now flip the 1 over 4. Flip it. What will the answer be? 1 over 4 will be 4 over 1, which is 4. Now multiply. Normal multiplication. 2 times 4 is equal to 8. Excellent. And you can count the pieces in your model. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 friends can share the 2 loaves of bread with an equal share of 1 over 4 piece. This is question number 1. Now let's practice again and let's do question number 2. 1 over 9 divided by 3. Let me ask you this question, students. I'm starting with a fraction and I'm dividing it by a whole number. What is the second conclusion that we learned in this lesson? Perfect. A fraction divided by a whole number. My answer must be a fraction. If you start with 1 over 9 piece of bread or an apple, no way you will end up with a whole number. You must end up with a fraction. So let's apply the KFC. Let's say it together. KFC. Keep, flip, change. Keep the 1 over 9. Excellent. Flip the 3. Now it's 3 over 1 now, but flip it. It will be 1 over 3. Excellent. Change the division to multiplication. Perfect. Now, everything is easy. Equal sign. 1 times 1 is equal to 1. 9 times 3 is equal to 1 over 27. Simple fraction, perfect answer. Let's do number 3. 7 divided by half. Okay, 7, it's a whole number. Divided by a fraction. What do you think? I have 7 apples and I want to divide each apple into a half. The question is, how many friends can share the 7 apples? Now, by the way, you can do such a question mentally. You can draw 7 models, 7 apples. So you can do this by drawing 7 apples, right? Let's do this. And then let's do the math part. So how many apples so far? 6, and now that's 7. Of course, my apples are not perfect as yours. Cut each one into half. What do you think? How many friends can share the apples, the 7 apples? Okay, did you reach into any conclusion? Perfect. How many? 14? Did you get 14? Very good. Now let's do the math. KFC. Keep, flip, and change. So I'm keeping the 7. I'm flipping the half. It's now 2 because it's 2 over 1. So it's 2. Then changing the division to multiplication. What's the answer? 14. Perfect. My model is matching my math steps. Remember, students, a fraction divided by a whole number is equal to a fraction. A whole number divided by a fraction is equal to a whole number. Now remember, students, the more math questions you answer, the easier the lesson will be. Take your time. You can stop the video and rewind it, and you can focus on any of the slides and practice as many as you can. I prefer that you try to answer these questions and send the answers for me. This is on your own section. And as we said, the more you practice, the better math skills you get. And you are also encouraged to solve questions 2 to question 14, page 515. This will not take more than 10 minutes of your time. Please show me your work and I'll be really happy to discuss any question with you and correct your mistakes. Remember, this is the homework page. Questions 2 to 14 along with the on your own. It's very easy. Do not forget, use the KFC, and if you prefer, you can use the KFC method and eat a KFC at the same time. And this is page 515. I'll post the answers for these 2 pages tomorrow, April 7, and I'll use my whiteboard tomorrow also to show you some math questions related to this lesson. So I hope that you enjoyed the video and I wish you all the best. Please stay healthy, helpful, and calm. I love you, my grade 5 students. See you very soon. Bye.